Hello. Growing shallots in a pot or a bucket can give you a good return. In this compilation video we look at some footage from a start to finish video I uploaded some time ago. Simply 4 shop bought shallots planted in a bucket delivers a lot in return. Take them early as spring or green onions, or let them go full term to produce shallots. Either way, it's well worth doing. I'm going to cut you to that video now, then come back to me, we'll discuss what we've got on the table. Okay, that's the 10-inch pot into shot. Can you hear that rain? Can you hear it? It's absolutely pouring down. Right, this is the 10-inch pot. And because these are going outside now, I've actually made some protection to go on the top of this pot. I've showed you this in a previous video. This is 4 lemonade bottles, top and tail, put together, stapled, just to make a windbreak. And because when you put anything in a pot, it tends to stand it up a bit, and that allows the wind to strike it even more so. So what I'm going to do is, so that I get these shallots equally spaced, I'm just going to use a plant label and pop one down as best I can in the middle of these windbreaks. Okay, now we can lift this off, and that's where we want to plant our shallots. Okay. There's the shallots we're planting. So first shallot, I'll pop that shallot where that used to be and push him down. Okay. Second shallot. We'll push him down. Okay, now if you can visualise each of those producing 5 shallots, that pot will be full. If that is let me start again. If that's what happens, that pot will be full, won't it? If each of those turn into 5. So that's about it, we can't put any more in there. Sit that on top, like so. These were put in at the beginning of the year. These are shallots, and these are shop bought shallots. I'm not too sure if you can see, but they're already starting to split off. I've never grown shallots in pots before. I think I've termed this shallots in pots, not a lot. I put 4 shallots in, and I'm hoping that each of those shallots will split off into 4 or 5 new shallots. Give me 20 or so, just under 20 shallots in that pot. That pot will be full then. Again, the wind protection. These rocket sticks. Okay, rocket sticks. tons of these about. When there's been a celebration of any kind, people let rockets off. If you go into a local park, anywhere near a build-up area where there's some celebrations going on. Hello, can you remember these guys? Shallots in pots, not a lots. Store-bought shallots. These were shallots that were bought to be eaten. But I set some aside and I've sown 4 in this pot, this 10-inch pot, and I've had to protect them using these stapled together lemonade bottles, pop bottles, because we've had some severe winds lately, and I think you'll agree these guys don't look too bad, do they? Okay, of course we keep pop bottles in place with our rocket sticks, as you can see, and I think at the time I sowed these, I had done a calculation of what I believed was reasonable to grow in a 10-inch pot in terms of shallots, and I said that if each shallot split off into 4 or 5 new shallots, then that pot will be full and that will be enough for us. I can actually see now how many shallots I'm going to get, and when I tip this over towards the camera I hope you can do the same, and we'll do a count. We'll count how many shallots we're going to get on each of these 4 shallots. Okay, so we'll try this one first, this bottom one, and I think I can see 1, 2, 3 shallots. There are 3 shallots coming from that one shallot. Okay, we'll move to the next one, and this one I believe I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shallots coming from that one shallot. 6 and 3 is 9, so we're on 9 shallots, are we? This one here, I believe I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shallots. So what did we say? 6, 7 and 3, 9, that's 16. 16 shallots and 1 to go. And this one here looks as though it's going to produce 1, 2, 3, 4. 20 shallots. So we're not far away on our original estimate, although there's a couple here got a lot more than one round the corner, but that's the way it goes in gardening, isn't it? That's the way it goes. And I'm not too sure that these will all get to maturity and we'll harvest all these shallots, but we're actually looking like hitting 20 shallots. I'll see if I can hold this pot any better at the camera. I hope you can see down into those tubes. I don't want to take them off because I would struggle to get them back on again, but you might be able to see those shallots dividing off. I don't know if you can. I can, and believe me, there are 20 shallots in this pot now. We started with 4, we've now got 20. All we've got to do is make them swell out. So, shallots in a pot, not a lot. Hello, these are my shallots grown in a 10-inch pot. You might not be able to recall, but when I sowed these shallots I only put 4 in this pot, and I calculated that if we could get 5 shallots from each shallot we could get 20 in this pot and the pot would be full. Well, I think you'll agree this pot's full. Couldn't get another shallot in here. So if you have a go at this at all, my recommendation is no more than 4 shallots in a 10-inch pot. So what we'll do now is I'm going to harvest these shallots and take them out of this pot, and I'm hoping that I can actually lift them all out in a wanna, but we won't know until we try. So I'm going to grip the pot between my feet and just try and lift them out as a clump. I'm going to take them all because of a feeling it might be difficult to get them out any other way. So I'm going to take them all. Okay, let's see if we can get them out. Oh yes, excellent. There are our shallots. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll break them away from the clump and see how many we've got, shall we? Molly, you don't like onions, it's potatoes and carrots and peas that you like, so there's nothing here for you. Okay, I'm going to switch the camera off now. I'm going to tidy these guys up. And we'll put the camera back on. Let's see how many we've got. How do they look? I think you'll agree that's a good return. This is the first time I've grown shallots in pots, and it's the first time I've grown shop-bought shallots, and so there's a few experiments going on here. I didn't know if they would grow, and I didn't know how many to put in a pot, and so I made a decision, 4, and that was it. We went with 4 shallots. 4 shallots in a pot, and that's the end result. That's a result. That's a result, Molly, isn't it? Yeah, Molly's agreeing. That's a result. This is Homegrown Veg, signing off. Did you enjoy that? Hey, there wasn't much to it, was there? A bucket full of soil, 4 shop-bought shallots just pushed in. You would notice that they had some roots on those shallots. What I did, because I was uncertain as to whether they would actually grow, I sat them in some compost indoors. And once they threw some roots down and threw some shoots up, I knew they would grow, and that's when I put them in the buckets. And yeah, you saw what I got, didn't you? Now what I didn't do was let them go full term. Had they gone full term and fallen over, just like an onion, and the shallot would have been a bit bigger than what it was. As it was, I took them early and they looked more like spring onions or green onions than shallots. But hey, that was a bucket full of onion, wasn't it? From 4 shop-bought shallots. Come on, it's simple. It's easy. You need to give this a go. You need to give it a go. Right, let's have a look at these here. These are some shallots I grew a few years back. And this was a packet of shallots I bought, 12 shallots. Yeah, they done okay. And that's your standard shallot, if there is such a thing as a standard shallot. This is the new kid on the block. Allegedly, this is a shallot. I don't think it is. I honestly don't think it is, and I'll tell you why. It's a shallot called Zebraun, okay. And it's an Echalion shallot. I may not have pronounced that correctly, so I'll put a spelling up. It's an Echalion shallot. And right here on the packet it says, favoured by Michelin-starred chefs. Well, you can guess where that name came from, can't you? If you're going to have a meal that includes echelons, well, that's a bit swanky. But if the meal's only got shallots in it, or onions in it, doesn't sound as swanky, does it? I think that's just a swanky term for this, onion. And why do I think it's an onion? When you plant an onion, you start from seed and you get one onion bulb growing. You'll know that, you'll know that. So you start from seed and you get one onion bulb growing. These zebra shallots, when you start from seed, this is a packet of seed, you get one onion growing. That's what you get. It sounds like an onion to me rather than a shallot. When we go over to the standard shallots, when you plant these guys, you don't plant seed, you plant a shallot. Yeah, you put one of those in the ground like a small bulb, sit it on top, push it in, do no more than that. And it starts to split off, and it splits off and splits off. When you come to harvest this, as you saw in that video, you can get 4 or 5 in return. When you harvest this, you get 1 in return, just as you would if you were growing an onion. I rest my case. I rest my case. So if you were to purchase some of these shallots and plant them, they wouldn't grow. They just stand. I know I've done it. These do not grow. Eventually they might throw a shoot up, which eventually might turn into a seed head. But you will not grow any more of these from one of these. You can grow 4 or 5 of these from one of these. So if you do decide to go to the grocery store and buy some shallots, maybe eat some, maybe grow some, these are the ones you want, not these ones. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is Homegrown Veg, signing out.